My name is Miriam Elizabeth Slaughter Kozze. I was born in Cleveland, Ohio, October the 22nd, 1927. I grew up in an Adventist home in Cleveland, Ohio, and went to church school at the church in Cleveland, Ohio, to the 9th grade, 10th grade. 11th and 12th grade, we moved from Cleveland to Windsor, Ohio, east of Cleveland, and I went to public school for the last 2 years of school. So we went to, the church was on 71st Street and Cedar Avenue.
Okay. Is it Glendale?
Yes, Glendale, Seventh-day Adventist Church.
Yes.
August 1975, we moved to Nashville. I
And
was
on your own
married
family?
with one child. When we moved to Nashville, I was married and had a family.
All right.
We had 3 children when we came. We lost one, so we had 3 children. Well, the reason two reasons we came to Nashville. The major reason was my husband would work at Riverside Hospital. And second was educating our children in Christian school. In Minnesota, where we lived for 13 years, they had a boarding academy, but we didn't want to send our children to a boarding academy. So that was Nashville was calling us. When we came, Keith was in the academy at Madison Academy, and Shelley and Bobby went to F.H. Jenkins and then went to Madison Academy. When we came in 75, Keith was, I think, in the 11th grade.
And
Bobby was at F.H. Jenkins, and Shelley was 5.5 years old, so we kept her home a year, and then she went to school. My husband's name was Howard Kozze, and he worked in the operating room, putting people. He was an anesthetist. A student. He was an anesthetist.
amen.
We came to Nashville. We visited Hillcrest, but we chose Riverside since my husband worked at Riverside and we lived close to Riverside. We chose Riverside. When we came, I think Elder Lester was our pastor, and we had good services. We were in the old building, and we just enjoyed the fellowship with the members there. Well, the McDonalds were here. Grace McDonald and her husband, and Mrs. The Bensons, Bernice and Lowell Benson, and the lady's name. But we had been here, my husband and I had been here in 1962. After he graduated from Loma Linda, we came here and stayed a year. We came in '62. I was on the ushers. I was one of the ushers.
Okay.
And I kind of helped with the cradle roll in the Sabbath school. I enjoyed working with the children. Well, they do a lot of singing and finger plays and Sabbath school lesson. And then in those days they had what they called picture rolls with the pictures on them and show them to the children with the memory verse at the bottom. And then on 13th Sabbath, they would have programs. The children would perform the things that they had learned during the 13 weeks. Excuse me. I was baptized in Cleveland, Ohio, as my late teens with a group from our church school. And I've tried to witness wherever I was. And then we moved here. I tried with our neighbors to tell them of our church and our experience with the Lord. The pastor that we had in Cleveland, Pastor Lawrence, was a dynamic speaker, and he was talked about prophecies, and showed those pictures that they have in evangelistic meetings with the different animals from the Bible. And that's when I accepted Jesus for myself. Well, one person that I really miss in the last few years has been Bernice Benson. I talk to her often, and I miss her. Well, we could talk about anything and talk about our church family, you know, and she was, at the time, she was at home a lot because of her husband's sickness, and we comforted each other, you know. As far as the church programs, yes, a lot of changes. When we came here, they had AYS youth programs. They've taken that out, and they've taken the Sabbath school out. And the music is different for us older people. It's a little more lively, I guess you could say. So there have been a lot of changes. On a whole, I don't think we're as friendly as we used to be. When we were in the old building, we were more like a family. And here, it's not as much. I was trying to think of one person. That's Ms. Buckman that used to be here. I don't know whether you ever heard of her, but
I remember Sister Buckman.
No,
the old building
I
burned?
was here when they were tearing down. In fact, I was out in the yard, in the backyard, weeding. The man was there with the machine, bulldozer, tearing down the old building. I thought it was a good plan, because on Sabbaths, it was crowded in that old building. So it was mostly still the same membership, so I didn't feel any different, you know. But we needed a bigger building to accommodate our members. And then people that would visit, you know, come through Nashville too. When we first came, Keith and some of the young men, I don't know whether, I know Bobby did, used to go over to the hospital. And I guess, you know, we came here for him to work at the hospital. But this was his second time at Riverside, because we came in '62, and then came back. He had been asked, Dr. Cookwood saw us at camp meeting in Lake Region and asked him to come back, and at first we said no. But then we came back.